Okay, let us have a quick check with our panelists. Peter, are you here?
Yep, I'm here. Good evening,
Arshela,
everyone.
are you here? Good evening. Sheila, are you here?
Yes, I am here.
Awesome. Nicole and Lucky, are you here?
Hi.
Yes,
I'm
let
here.
everyone know who's Loki.
Loki is my cat. Unfortunately, I can't see him right now, so maybe later I'll show.
Definitely, definitely. Okay, I think we can begin. All right. A very good evening to all of you viewers who are watching right now, joining us 8 p.m. Singapore time right here in You Are Not Alone Southeast Asia Mental Health Initiative Facebook page. I know all of you are coming from all different places. Some of you received this by WhatsApp. Some of you know about this from Instagram, LinkedIn. Well done for joining us this evening. And this evening, we are talking about Netflix Queen's Gambit, the show that became a hit. And during the pandemic, when everyone is locked at home, they clock in over 62 million viewers in less than 30 days. This is the show about a game that people deem boring, chess. However, it has taken over the world as a new phenomenon. And joining us tonight, I would like to introduce the panelist that is with us tonight. This is a casual live stream. It's not a formal thing, right? So you don't see all of us in a suit or something tonight, except Peter. Okay, let me first introduce who do we have here tonight, right? So first and foremost, I would like to introduce Nicole Lucas, which is the current program directors of IAS International, which stands for ASEAN Youth Engagement Summit. She's a philosophy major and is taking up her master's in tech management. And next up, yeah, please put your hands up for Nicole Lucas.
Hi. Good day.
Thank you for joining us, Nicole.
Thank you so much,
if you are
Terrence.
fortunate, welcome, Nicole, welcome. And if you are fortunate, you might have a glimpse of her cat, Loki, named after Thor's brother, 6 months old. A beautiful cat, you'll see in a bit. Okay, next up. Next up, I would like to introduce Miss Arshela Abdullah.
Hi.
Right. Completing her studies, waiting for internship. And she's the Miss Petite Universe International Sarawak 2020, and also the Miss Petite Sarawak 2019. Just imagine that double title holder here tonight, and a mental health advocate to boot. Please put your hands together for Arshela Abdullah.
Okay.
Arshela is obviously from Sarawak,
Yeah.
Malaysia. Nicole is obviously from Philippines. But which part of Philippines are you from, Nicole?
I'm from Metro Manila, Luzon.
Manila.
Manila.
Luzon. All right. Awesome. Welcome. Welcome. Okay. Last but not least, the man that fits the team, the one that dressed up in his suit with a chess background. You know, he's an aspiring interviewer. I've known Peter for many years, but I've only met him in person last year. And he's one of my earliest live stream guests. And to kick off this new season of drama and movie review, I have him back. Why? Because he's an certified, Kudo certified interpreter. He's a translator. He's an MC. He's a Toastmaster officer. He's an area director. And of course, most importantly, he's a film and art enthusiast.
Some people call us film critics, but I find that too intimidating. So I'll stick with enthusiast.
Yeah, enthusiast sounds good. No one will critique an enthusiast, but everyone is criticizing the critic, right?
Exactly. So I'll stay as an enthusiast.
Please put your hand together for Peter Chin. Okay, once again, for our viewers, if you are watching this, drop us the comments. Let us know who you are. Okay, I would like to give a shout out for all the early comers to the show, right? Jesse, are you here? Jesse I. Peter, Rance. Yeah, just met him a couple of hours ago. Rance, good to have you here, Rance. Francisco. What a name, what a name. Welcome, welcome. Right, if you love Queen's Gambit, if you have seen the show, do drop us a comment. Okay. So as you know, Queen's Gambit is the show about chess. But more important than the chess is the drama, is the characters that make this show so beloved. So with this, perhaps we can start off with Peter. Can you tell us in under 60 seconds why Queen's Gambit? Why do you love Queen's Gambit?
Oh wow, that's a challenge. It feels like table topics. I mean, it's actually the same time frame. So in short, it is a show that is about something very technical, about chess, but at the same time, it depicts the multiple aspects of a human, a development of a person from an underprivileged position to the height that one can only imagine. So if you're not familiar with chess like me, I know nothing about chess, but still you're interested in this. This would be a good time to spend 7 episodes, about an hour each, and you will not regret it. It's just a nice size to binge watch, but at the same time, you'll experience the life of another great character. That's why you should watch it.
Awesome. Just in time, I guess all the table topics practice really helps. Yeah. Okay. So next up, Nicole, our special guest from Philippines. Would you like to do your 60 seconds?
Yeah. So what I like about Queen's Gambit, especially the first time I watched it, is that it's just art. Like as a film, it's just pure art for me. Like you can see the details, you can see how the directors, and most especially the acting of Anya Taylor-Joy, the character development throughout those throughout Beth's teenage years until she matured. I really love that, and as well as of course the women empowerment that is not the typical Western women empowerment film. I love that one.
Fantastic. Okay, so with this, Arshela, 3, 2, 1.
So what I like most, I started first already. Okay, so what I like the most with this series is the style and the fashion in it. As a beauty queen, I really love fashion and also the outfit. When I saw this series, I feel very inspired with it until I click the Shopee and I want to find all the clothes that the character are using. Okay,
Wow.
but yeah.
We can definitely touch a bit on the fashion part. It's actually quite a critical part of the development of the character. So rest assured, we'll definitely touch on that. Even though I'm not a fashionista, can try on that.
Yeah, and also Queen's Gambit is more to like a mental health issue where I can learn more about mental health when I watch this. That is all. Yep.
Awesome.
Recommended.
Awesome. Recommended.
Okay.
Okay, so let us dive right into some of the themes, right? Let me see, where do we begin? So the story begins, for those of you who have not watched this, I would like to tell you honestly, this is going to be filled with spoilers. Probably, yeah, that will cut some joy, yeah.
But some
if you
people
have not watched it, yeah.
Exactly. Some people might have the question why they should watch it why they should watch this live session if there is so much of a spoiler. So let me try and convince everyone, if you're still staying. The thing about spoiler is, if a show itself is solid enough, right? It's good enough, the production is quality enough. Even if I tell you the whole story, and after that you went and watch it, you will still enjoy it. So if you're worried about spoilers, stop worrying and keep watching this live session, because we need audience. You know, we need to share our love for this work.
We just want to discuss. Okay.
Yeah, and
Okay, don't worry.
we want to share with all of you.
Yeah, we've watched it a number of times too. That's how good it was.
True. Sometimes I've watched spoilers, you know, like spoiler review kind of shows, you know, like that show. Okay, another cat. What is the name of the cat, Arshela?
Abu.
Abu. Okay, okay. So we have two cats here tonight, Abu and Loki. You see, the beautiful thing about stream, it brings cats together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start straight away, right? Let's give some meat to our viewers, right? So where do we begin? How about we begin with, what is your favorite character? Generic question, but quite important, especially to give the viewers, you know, something to ground on, a character that they can relate to as we discuss. So who is your favorite character and why?
Must be one only.
I think we can
Well,
start
you can do two. You can do two.
Yeah, we can start with one.
Yeah, you can start with one, definitely. Yeah, would you like to begin, Arshela?
Okay, what? So it is hard for me because I have two in my mind, which is Beth and also her boyfriend, the photographer, because I do believe that he is very romantic person. Well, I love romantic movie. Yeah, I think these two, which I will explain later why.
Oh, there's a teaser there. All right, all right. Nicole, what do you say, Nicole?
Well, I love Beth. Like, I really fell in love with Beth. Even at first. So I love her clothes. Same with Arshela. I love her clothes. I love that she's smart, she's intelligent, but she's not denying that she's not denying that she loves fashion, that she wants to be beautiful, glamorous, action. So I love her, and I love the way she's very direct in her speech, the way she asserts herself, even if there are so many, even if the chess field at that time is full of men. I think it's still now. It's still.
Nice, nice. Okay, so that leaves you, Peter.
For me, there would be two. The first one would be Beth Harmon's, the main character's mother. Do I need to tell why?
Sure.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Why? The reason why is because she provides a very stark contrast from, the era where women start to aware of the possibilities in their life, not just in the conventional confinement, but they start to explore and imagine what's possible. And the mother, although being very kind, she provides a contrast where as Beth slowly grows and expands further, and you can see, if you are there to explore, how much you can achieve. There's a contrast in between, and that provides us a very clear comparison how a character can grow. Then second is, I think, would be Benny Watts, the US chess champion,
Yep.
that Beth eventually beats, but he comes back and try his very best to help Beth instead, as a friend, to go to a greater heights instead of just staying where they are. So these are my two favorite characters.
Okay, I think over here we have two different team, right? One person love Benny, and we have Arshela who love I believe the guy name is Towns or something.
Townsend.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I've watched Queen's Gambit about like a couple of months ago, so you know it's hazy, but I'm there. So I think one of the key point that Peter just now say is how he loved that Benny actually came back for Beth Harmon towards the end, right? And there is this scene where all the chess player in the past, including Harry, Benny, you know, and some of his friends, together at the phone, right? They are researching, you know, the different chess move that Beth could use in the finals, you know, and they all come together towards the end. If anything, it's a full circle, because when we begin the story, Beth Harmon began in an orphanage, right? She's being abandoned. And for those of you who follow the series, her mom actually committed suicide, you know, and Beth has always been, have this trauma and perhaps even anxiety, right? And this abandonment issue, it just continues, right? You know, one after another abandons her, you know, even when she's being adopted, and still she does not feel the intimacy. And then soon her adopted father is gone, left her alone with her mom, and then her mom is gone. You know, it just keeps on repeating, you know, throughout the whole series.
Yeah. And if you get started, if you start your life from that position, it's quite an unfortunate beginning, and usually it's quite hard to get out from there, you know. You don't have a caring family, and then you're underprivileged. I mean, I see where you're coming from, so I can definitely imagine that.
So actually, guys, I am also an orphan, but when I watch this movie, I feel very inspired with it, and I just want to be like Beth. You know, she is very, very confident, even though at first she is very a problematic person, which is she cannot talk too much with any people, and also like that. So I feel that I am very inspired with this movie. Yep.
Awesome. I think it is great that Arshela, you know, as an orphan, able to resonate with the character in a drama, right? That's what I love about Queen's Gambit, if I've not answered earlier, is that there are so many themes in one short series, so many things that people can pick from there, like I resonate with this, I resonate with this. I think that's what makes Queen's Gambit special.
Yes. Based on the true story.
And the good thing is it doesn't try so hard. Like unlike other movies that, you know, it's so glaring, the hardships are obvious, but this one it's just like we're sailing through the actual life of Beth, of an ordinary person, but we see how she succeeds in the end.
True. How about you, Peter? What is the part in the series that resonates with you the most?
Let me give you a short analogy or reference.
Okay.
Many years ago, there was a young man in the United Kingdom. Well, he also happens to be young man everywhere, at least on the same planet. So technically, he's a young man everywhere at that time.
Okay. So
that's one. So he started to trade a pin on eBay, and he traded from an. I'm sure many of you would have heard the story, from a pin and then to a more expensive items, and then to a bigger item, then eventually he managed to trade from a little pin in the office that you use to clip paper clip, all the way to get a house, you know, a landed house in a suburb of UK. So in many ways, this resonates me with that story of a real person, of how you actually find leverage points throughout your life. You know, you gain some skills or you gain some advantage, and it's okay when you're coming from a not so privileged background. It's totally fine, but you always need to have that mindset. You know, every stage of life, how can I leverage on something so that I can lift myself higher? So in the story, you can see how Beth, throughout his growth, different phases of growth, she's always very on time and on point, where she could find someone that is much better than her. And she would make good use and leverage on their strength and lift herself higher. This is something that I personally resonates quite much.
Awesome, awesome. So now that we hear what everyone is resonated about, right? And I would like to really follow up with what Arshela says, right? Like she resonates with the character because the character is similar to her in some ways. And that is someone that you can look up to, a role model, right? I remember there is this scene, you know, when Beth actually go down into like a downward spiral. She's drinking a lot, right? Things like that. And that moment, she went back to her old orphanage. I think it's at that moment there is another lady. It's a lady chess player. From the beginning, from the start, when she started playing chess in, you know, in high school games, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that's
yeah. The lady actually came back, right? And she told Beth, which is in a very bad condition at that time, about how she inspired her, you know, as a woman to woman kind of thing. That how she can make it at the international stage, right? So my question is, has there been someone in your life that you look up to, that you feel like you are connected to, has the same background or personality, and that person kind of make it, and that inspires you, give you a possibility that maybe you can do it too? Any takers?
I think it is my own grandmother, because she took care of me since I was a kid, and she is very hardworking person, and she always be there when I am sad or I am in my own problem, and I can see that she never give up until I further my study and until I have been successful in this pageant. So I want to be like her. Even though I lost my grandfather in 2018, a bit sharing. Even though I lost my grandfather in 2018, and also I don't have any parents since I was a kid, and I do believe that she is very sad that time. But then I know that because me and my brother, she stay up and she want me to be strong enough to handle all of this problem. That is why I want to be like her. She is the person who I want to look up for.
Awesome. Thank you for your heartfelt sharing.
Story to share.
It's a good thing to share. It's a good thing to share. That's why our platform is called You Are Not Alone, right?
Yeah.
You know, sometimes many of the struggles we have in life is universal, you know, it has been felt by many, and can be, you might inspire some people down the road when you share your struggle. So don't be ashamed of sharing where you come from or what happened, you know, because there could be another little girl that look up to you like how Arshela look up to her grandmother.
Yeah, actually, there are many people.
So Nicole, do you have yes.
Okay, Nicole, proceed.
No, it's okay. You can share first.
It's okay, no.
Okay, well, that's ironic. Because for me, I think one of the things that I can resonate with Beth is that although there are people who have been there physically in her life, like her mom, or especially her mom, during the first periods where she was adopted and her mom wasn't really supportive or intimate with her, and even though there are other people who are in her life, most of the time she feels pretty much alone. And well, I do feel that sometimes, and yeah, somehow I meant I only have myself to look up to, basically. But while growing up and being older, I think I'm inspired by the people, like successful women, successful people who are I hear the stories, like especially those who started from rags to riches, something like that, or even if it's not in business, even if a successful scientist, a successful artist, those are the people who inspire me. It's not very close to home, but I think it's well, it's a good way to move forward in life.
Awesome, awesome. I think what Nicole have just said is that sometimes you can be inspired by people that we do not know, or even fictional characters, right?
Yeah,
And that's why arts
definitely.
and film matters.
K-pop idols.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. Especially
Pop
when you're
idol. True.
especially when you're a kid. And when I was a
Uh-huh.
kid, I love reading books, and usually it's
Mhm.
those fictional characters that I kind of look up to.
Exactly. If you read books, it's as if you live 1,000 lives. So to our film enthusiasts, Peter Chin. Oh, what's
Sounds
the
good.
story? What's
Sounds
your story,
heavy.
brother?
What mean? Who do I look up to?
Yeah. Is there a person that you resonate with, that you look up to, that you inspire you?
When it comes to show business, since we're talking about web series, personally, I would look up to someone that is quite unconventional. I'm not sure if you guys heard about Rowan Atkinson,
Rowan.
the
Mr.
guy
Bean?
that plays,
Mr. Bean.
Mr.
yeah,
Bean.
yeah, the guy that
Definitely.
plays the character as Mr. Bean. If you're born in the 90s and around that range, you would be watching that throughout the week on the TV. And initially, he seems to be just like a funny guy to me on the TV. But slowly, when I grew up, I start to learn more about this person, how he started from college. You know, he would form comedy clubs with his friends, going through rehearsals week after week, and they would go to clubs, comedy clubs to perform, even though they were nobody. And even when he achieved the height of his career, like the whole world would just watch him be goofy and make fun around, he would still put a very high standard on himself. Every body movement, every story, it's well articulated. It's not like what you watch on the show that is very silly, but instead, he would choreograph every step, every move, so that he can time exactly when the audience would expect when to laugh along and get entertained. So that kind of enthusiasm and passion for his own craft is something that everyone can learn of, whether you're from performing arts or not, show business or not. Whether is there anyone watching you or not, even when you're nobody, you should have that kind of attitude, you know. How can I get better? If I practice this only for once, can I do better? Or can I practice 2 more times until I feel that it cannot get better anymore? Then only I stop, you know. We need, now more than ever, we need that kind of commitment for ourselves. So that's why he came across my mind just now.
Awesome, awesome. I didn't expect Rowan Atkinson to be brought in here as well.
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't know.
He's quite humorous. Not quite humorous. Very funny.
I didn't know he has such an awesome background. Like, it's my first time to hear it. That's how he did it.
True, true. I think the meme going around is that Mr. Bean is only like, I don't know, like 15, 20 episodes, but it seems like, you know, he has did like 100 episodes, you know. Yeah, that's the feeling. Yeah, so right now I would like to share the screen, right, for us to go into a couple of Queen's Gambit character, so that our viewers, you know, can have a look like who are the players, you know, in Queen's Gambit. Okay, so on our screen right here, let me go straight into this, right? So Queen's Gambit, Netflix. Oh, it's October 23rd. Okay, not too long ago. Just like 2 months plus. Beth Harmon's mom. This Alice Harmon.
Looks like her.
Yep. Haircut maybe in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Cute.
orphanage haircut, right? So over here, I think we have an interesting story. It's about substance abuse, right? So it begins so early, like way before all the alcohol and smoking, right? It started with the pill. So for the viewers who are watching on Facebook, right, there is this, they are given this red pill, green pill thing, which is actually a tranquilizer. Basically, it's a drug to keep you calm. You see, if you have an anxiety or if you have insomnia, you know, these are the drugs that are being prescribed to keep you calm. You see, what happens is that during the 20th century, there's a lot of orphanage in the US or Canada. They kind of abuse that because they are giving out these drugs without prescription, right? So why? Because, you know, children can be unruly sometimes, right? I mean, they are children, they're active, they are curious, right? They are being given these drugs without prescription. So I'm just going to throw it out to our panelists. Any comments on this topic? Open floor. Have you ever turned to any sort of substance or addicted to any form of, it could be games, it could be sleeping. What is your coping mechanism?
Actually,
Maybe, yeah, Arshela, start first.
Actually, Hugo, I took all the medicines that are related to anxiety and depression because I am also the survivor before. So I know what is tranquilizer, okay, if I pronounce it correctly. But then I stopped around 2020, last year around June. So what can I say, that the medicine, it works, but then if you take it like every day, you can feel something lost in your head. So it's like you cannot talk to anyone, you just blank like this. Even though people say, hi Sheila, like Sheila, wake up, you can't respond anything because I don't want to say it's like hide, no. It's like you don't want to respond with anybody when you eat that. Means that you will feel relaxed and also relieved. That is from what I have experienced before with that kind of supplement.
So you don't feel the drive, the energy to talk, to do something?
Yeah, yes. You just like want to sleep, and also you always want to look up at the ceiling like this. It's like you are not crazy, but then you cannot think anything when you eat that. Yeah.
How many tablets will a person can safely consume in a day, say?
So if this kind of medicine, it only can eat before sleep. Just one lah, just one.
Okay.
If not, you will be overdose. It's very dangerous lah.
Just like Beth in the drama, right?
Yeah.
She kind of take a whole mouthful of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So don't take pills without prescription.
Yeah.
Peter, you have something to say just now?
It's more like my observation. Like during my secondary school days, I would see some of the kids that are like lagging, schoolmates that are like lagging behind their studies. And more often than not, and especially when they come from troubled families, they would often resolve to those, well, if you're a student, you would look for cheaper options. Like those days, they would have those, they would go to those hardware shops and get those really cheap, what do you call that? The glues, where you can get like one can for a few ringgits that looks yellowish in color. And they would smell on it to get high.
With
inhalants.
Yeah, and more often than not, it actually kind of kills some of your brain cells. That's what I heard. And but school life can be too tough on them until they have to seek for some kind of escape. So in that case, I mean, I come from a viewpoint that if someone or a group of people from a background that is in difficulty and they resolve to that, I think the first thing is that we shouldn't be judging them, you know. No one with a sane mind would like try to harm themselves if they can, but if they are in a situation where it's just too painful to face the situation, we have to be quite empathetic with that. I mean, that's at least that's where we can first start, you know, if we encounter such people in life.
I think Peter raised a important point, right? Because all kind of substance abuse or addiction, you know, all these are mainly fruits of some root issues, you know, that is at place. You know, people do not know how to cope, and they try to find something, you know, that can ease their pain or take away, you know.
Sometimes it can be just too hard to face, and they just need to escape.
True, true. Yeah, Nicole, do you have anything to add to that?
Well, for me, I think it's if there's any addiction I had, it would be work. Like I'm really prone to being a workaholic, and so what I do is to really put a stop, plan my quitting time. So like, okay, 6 p.m. I'm stopping stopping at work. Yeah, because I can be very prone. Like before, I would work even on weekends, and that was I didn't realize it wasn't healthy. Until I came to a point that I got so burned out, I couldn't, get out of bed. I felt anxious every morning. I felt depressed all the time. So that's what happened. And then I think yes, Peter's correct. It's important to be empathic to those people because sometimes it's overbearing. Like sometimes it's the straw. They know the saying the straw
the last straw on the camel.
Yeah, like sometimes it can be that it may seem small or it may seem a petty event, petty incident, but we don't know what each people is carrying if that's the last straw they to actually break their back. Yeah, and in terms of the movie, I think it was shown there how her friend Jolene didn't really well, she was the one who encouraged Beth, but in the end she didn't judge Beth, and I think that kind of she showed Beth warmth, like acceptance, and I think that's one of the things that made Beth quit, not because of other people, but for herself. Sometimes people do not stop taking drugs or any kinds of addiction because they tend to rebel, and the more you tell them to stop using it, the more they will use it, something like that. And so it's just really trying to accept the person as they are, and making them feel that they're valuable, and and when they feel that, they will find in themselves the courage, the bravery to stop.
And if I may, Nicole also raised a very good point. If we can relate back to the show itself, throughout the web series, we would see one thing that is very obvious. Whenever the main character, Beth Harmon, faces difficulty in real life, especially in relationships, and how to deal with herself, she would often resort back to even more excessive research of the chess games. You would often realize that,
Yeah.
And just go back and reimagine how to do better at games, and just lay down and take the pills and imagine the chess pieces on the ceiling, on the roof. Yeah, like this one that we're seeing.
Yeah.
That also resonates with what Nicole says. Work itself as an outlet to escape from the problem. This is something that many of us would easily overlook with, and especially in this day and age where everyone is constantly having something to do.
Yeah.
Always another 10 emails to reply. And if you have another more urgent issues such as you just had an argument with your partner and you both got stuck in the apartment every day. Imagine that. I mean, some of our audience might even be in that situation now. So there would be a tendency for you to just say, I'm really busy. Can I just let me get to my work and we'll talk about this another day. And you will easily just skip through days without addressing the issue. So if you notice that you might be in this situation or you're already in this, I want to take this opportunity and please pay attention to that. Don't, give yourself time, instead of like Beth Harmon, always running away with being more obsessive with her work.
Very true. I think I was just about to add on that point, but Peter have kind of explained it, because I've heard something similar from another speaker, right? As you know, I'm in training industry. So this speaker, when he was younger, he has this thing with drugs and alcohol and stuff, right? So what happens is that he didn't exactly, he kind of stopped all that stuff, but he kind of converted his addiction from addiction to substance to addiction to work, and now he kind of feels that, he needs to work every single day, don't look at the time, like what Nicole said, because he feels that if he stops working, he will go back to his old ways, of drinking, and doing drugs. So it's funny how that sometimes we don't really resolve what is the problem. We just go from one sort of addiction to another, and I'm sure you have seen your friend says that, you shouldn't drink so much, you shouldn't be smoking. But at the same time, if you just look at him, you realize that he has another form of addiction. He's so busy watching Netflix, he's so busy on his phone, playing his games, whatever games that is. She could be addicted to online shopping, because it's lockdown, the pandemic, just look at online, what to buy. Really fashion, looks
it is a real thing.
Yeah. Actually.
And I mean, I'm not sure if this sounds like joking or not, but the last thing that you want to do when advising your friend, especially if they have addiction, for example, if your friend have some issues with drinking, the last thing that you should do is tell them to stop drinking.
Exactly.
That will not help. That will do the exact opposite.
Yeah, exactly, right?
It will only make things worse.
Yeah.
Please don't do that.
Because they do it because, people expect them. There's also that mindset that people expect them to be good. So they, all the more they do not want to conform.
Like, oh, you're criticizing me, you're judging me.
You're also like that. Some of them also like that.
I think many times when like what are the raised, right, about not criticizing, sometimes if you look at how people quit smoking, or quit whatever that they are doing, right, usually it's not exactly because they don't know it's bad. Everyone knows certain things are bad, yet they still do it, right?
Of course.
Yeah, because people are not always rational.
Correct. There is this friend who quit smoking because he realized that right now she has a baby girl and smoking will be bad for the baby, right? So people do change their habits because they kind of now have a new priority in life, a new direction in life. They kind of weigh out the benefit and cost, like right now, I probably need to quit this thing and do this thing. Sometimes it's sorted out this way, right? Like the past 20 years of people nagging that person, it just doesn't work, sometimes.
Yeah, I think I remember I came across that advertisement on TV before. Like this one of the few sensible public PSA that advises people to quit smoking. I think the only one that is sensible is that the PSA itself shows the father that is smoking, and after that the father's getting a baby, like you said, baby girl.
Yep.
And he started to think of, oh, whenever he feels the urge to smoke, then he would look at the baby, then he would imagine what would it cause to his child. I think it's one thing to keep in mind is that we shouldn't be like just start very hard to quit a bad habit or addiction, but perhaps we can use another way of what's a better way to replace this habit. You know, if I'm smoking, can I change with any other alternatives? You know, can I eat healthier so that I don't feel the urge to smoke? Can I take a few deep breaths and relax whenever I feel the urge to light up my cigarette? Small little change of thoughts.
Yeah. You know, I recently attended a course. Well, the course is really about learning how to learn, but it's very interesting because we were tackling about procrastination, and apparently what happens in your mind when you procrastinate is almost the same with addiction, with the urges. So there are 4 things that happen according to that, to that course. First is the cue. The cue is the trigger, basically. And then second is the routine. Third is the reward. And then the fourth is the belief. So routine means when that trigger happens, what do you do? So for instance, if you get stressed, in case of bad habits, you get stressed. The cue, that's the cue, the trigger. And then what happens, the routine is that you get the smoke. You get the cigarette to smoke. And then the reward is that you feel relieved. So that reward releases the dopamine in your brain and reinforces that certain habit. That's why you do it again. And then the belief is the last, which is very important, because after you feel that reward, you conclude to yourself that, hey, this is good, this is working. So I learned from that course that if you want to break any bad habit, the willpower is very limited, and you need to assert it on a specific one specific incident or instance only, as it will tire you if you keep on fighting off the procrastination. You'll eventually give in to it. So you just have to have the willpower to have a plan when that cue, when that trigger happens. So it's between that cue and the routine. So get a plan there, like, in the case of the procrastination, if you feel the urge to not keep going, you must have a plan that, like, for example, 25 minutes of pure concentration just to break that procrastination barrier. So it can help for those who are, struggling, planning to quit addiction in their own terms. And it might help to have a plan if they feel stressed. What's not that's right, Peter. What's the next plan? What's an alternative, better solution for it?
And if I may, I can boil it down to even more simpler, actionable steps. Addiction and procrastination. It's a personal observation of mine. So let's start with addiction. So whenever I don't care what your addiction is, you have your own reason, you have your own personal history with that. It's totally fine. I'm sure you're dealing with it, whether you have it or your friends are having it or your families are having it. Whenever you feel like the urge to indulge in that sense of enjoyment that the substance brings, instead of wanting you to hold so hard to stop it, I want you to delay it. When you feel the urge, you immediately freeze yourself. Give yourself 5-10 minutes. Whether you go for a walk, whether you lie down and just take a few deep breaths. Immediately break the train of thoughts of reaching your hand to whatever substance you're enjoying, you're indulging in. Then you will have enough time to build up the willpower, like what Nicole said, to stop it. Don't immediately ask yourself to just hold on. your willpower will eventually wear out. Instead, you build the new cycle. Every time the urge comes back, immediately pause the brake, like how you would step on the brake of a car. No, that's for addiction. And for procrastination, I want to use a popular example. January, it's almost February. Usually, if it's without the disturbance of pandemic, usually you'll see a lot of gym rats in gym now, especially in the evenings. Lots of people in the gym. I mean, if we're without the pandemic, and then from a few days from now, we're now like what 28th in Malaysia, and 3 days from now, and on the 1st of February, you'll see only 10% of people still attending gym. So how do we address procrastination? Like, I want to keep jogging, losing weight. How do we stay on course? So every time that it's time for you, let's say every Sunday morning, I want myself to step out from my door and go jogging. What you shouldn't do is that you try very hard to negotiate with yourself. 7 a.m. in the morning, your alarm clock rings, and you try so freaking hard to wake up because it's so comfortable. Usually what people will do is they negotiate. They spend half an hour to negotiate with themselves. I'm not referring to anyone, but usually what happens,
Jonah volunteered.
majority of people out there would lose the negotiation.
Yes.
And they spend 2 more hours napping. So what you should do in this case, I'm going to finish really fast. I'm not going to take up your time, Hugo. Don't worry. What you should do is you should immediately break the train of thought. Put up your socks. You start by put up the socks. You walk out from the door. You put on the shoes, and you lock your door, and you go one step after another. You don't think that, oh, I want to jog for 2 hours today. Don't think that. Just do the steps. Okay, I'm now gonna put my socks. I can still go back to my bed, no worries. And then you put on your shoes. You can, when your thoughts, your habits are coming back, you tell yourself, it's okay, I can still go back to my bed. But when the moment when you lock the door, the gate, that's it. You have, whether you like it or not, you're gonna hit the road or gym, and you're gonna finish that 1 or 2 hours that you plan to have. You know, that's a more sensible way to deal with yourself. Don't wear yourself out, you know.
Definitely. And just to add up to what Peter said. So again, from the course I took, it was very helpful because the trick to do that is to let our brains focus on the process, not the product. Like what Peter said, the process is the running, but don't your brain. That's the reason why your brain procrastinates is because it senses or it feels stressed, and the reason you procrastinate is because, of course, the brain feels stressed and you want relief. That's why you go to something else. That's why you search for what will relieve you, and the product, like jog, let's say 25 kilometers or less than 10 kilometers, it stresses your brain. But if you just focus on, okay, running just for, let's say, 5 minutes, it elevates your metabolism, it elevates your momentum to keep running and to continue what you're doing. So definitely, and I don't know if I mentioned, but I also came from a behavioral design company, and one of the things that I learned there is that you need to be empathic with yourself, compassionate with yourself. So if something doesn't work out for you, what about the process, or what about the design is not working? Like, for example, in exercising, for me, I found it difficult at first because I found it difficult to start exercising when I do not have my sports clothes or gym clothes. So what I did is, okay, you know what? I'll buy 3 sets just so that every time it's NWF, I'm prepared. My mindset is I'm on my clothes and I want to, and I need to keep going to start exercising. So that's one of the tricks that you can do for yourself.
Fantastic. I would like to read out a comment by Johansson. You, well said, Nicole. Loki's here. People,
Hi
that's
everyone.
Loki.
So
Say hi to
hi.
Loki.
He looks
Okay.
jealous, cat.
Where are you?
Hello. He's a
Okay,
fluff.
let me give a big screen to the viewers. So
Oh.
viewers, meet
Here.
Loki.
He doesn't like selfies so much.
Hi Loki.
Hi. It says
Yeah.
hi.
Hey, Loki says enough screen time. That's it.
Yeah. Too much celebrity. Doesn't like showbiz.
Johansson says, well said, Nicole, asking them to stop, but without
Oh,
channeling
thank
the
you.
psychological projection to other positive stuff will make them crave more and desire more to compensate their pain. You know, which I totally agree with that, because as the saying goes, right, what you resist persists, you know, and that's why you cannot just tell yourself, I can't do this, I can't do this, I shouldn't do this. But what is the alternative plan, right? Where are we going to put this focus on? You know, we need to channel it somewhere else, like what Nicole have mentioned, and also to take small incremental step, like what Peter have said, right? If you just take the first step, you know, doesn't feel it's too heavy compared to doing the whole marathon, right? And of course, prepping yourself, you know, always dress up, suit up, you know, for the occasion, so that you feel like you are now here for action. Okay.
Like what Peter's doing right now.
Exactly. So just now we have mentioned a bit about work, right? I would like to highlight a bit back to our PowerPoint presentation over here. I'm not sure if this is the award. This probably is the first prize she won or something. But later on, she won another one, lightly.
Yeah.
And she was being interviewed, right? She was being interviewed by the reporter. If there is one thing that Beth feels a bit not right, is that the whole article that's published on her is talking and focusing a lot on her being a woman instead on her skill sets and competency, right, in the chess game. So to our both ladies here in the panelists, have you ever felt like people only look at who you are as a gender as the highlight instead of what you can do?
Actually,
Mm-hmm.
some of them yes, but
Mm-hmm.
but for me is being a beauty queen is quite
Mm-hmm.
hard when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
talent. People will ask, you can sing, you can
Mm-hmm.
dance, you can talk, or you can speak. Like me, I am not a speaker or a host before, because I am very cheerful person, and I love to answer people like very short form. And I am a very straightforward person. And then when people ask me like, but you are a beauty queen, why can't you just making life every day and just speak formally? But some of my viewers, they really like my personality, like I am very funny. Some of them like that, but it is not just because of my gender, but some of them are looking towards our personality. Yes, that is more important.
True, from a beauty queen's perspective,
Yeah,
right?
personality is more important despite of anything else, because I do believe that with personality you can go further, even though you don't have a pretty face or any like a good feature, but as long as you have a good personality, even though you cannot speak, but they always want to see how you talk to other people, especially with your close friend. If they say to other people like, she is very funny, she is very cute, she can sing, and for me it's like it is a good improvement for me as a beauty queen. But in terms of speaking, I am very shy person before. You can see how I speak like because I am very straightforward person. Even on stage, if I am answering the question and answer, they said that I love to answer people with heart, you know, like anything that related to my life, I will speak it out, and I never feel embarrassed with my story. That is why my advocacy title is Story to Share. And many of my viewers understand lah. Yes.
Awesome, awesome. I think at the end of the day, sometimes, despite whatever flaws that we might have, sometimes at the end of the day, it's the ability to build connection. I've seen speakers that the command of the language is not strong, but then they have a magnetic personality, right? People feel that they are very authentic. They speak to people's heart. People feel drawn to them. They might not win any high school, public speaking competition, but at the end of the day, no one cares about winning competitions. It's winning the people's heart, the people that we want to communicate to. That's what matters at the end of the day.
It is more than the beauty queen itself. Even without a title, you are a queen itself if you can win any other people's heart. Yeah.
What do you think, Nicole? Looks, gender, and personality.
Yeah.
Let us show face a bit to the audience.
It's when I was younger, actually, back in high school, I went to high school that has very much advocated of women's rights, particularly because it came from an all-girls school. But that particular school is well known for advocating human rights, especially women empowerment, gender empowerment. And at that time, when I was in high school, I was involved in an organization, and there were two clusters. There were men and boys, and then there were girls, us, and we were serving pretty much for the organization as girls. We were very much into what we were doing. Our time was really for the organization, and then these boys are not very much participative. Then something happened. There was a change in the management, and then the president at the time was very traditional, very conventional in the sense that he didn't view us women as the legit members, and so we were kind of ousted from that organization, and it was really, really difficult for me to accept that because I was one of those people who really served during that time, and it was difficult because it's not just the time but also the scale. Like we girls did really our best to just not be there, but also to do things correctly. Like if it was in Beth's case, it's like she did everything correctly. She was striving, but the federation didn't like her. The chess federation didn't like her, so something like that. So I felt bad, and then eventually, well, I was growing up. I think the emphasis when I started working, luckily, I have a lot of women. I work with a lot of women, and not just as colleagues, but also I saw women who are top executives or CEOs and something like that. And I think the issue about being a woman slowly was fading. Like I was not there to show I was a woman, I was working, something like that. But really more of my work ethics as a person. Like it's better if they saw me. I want the part for look at the magazine. I guess that was the magazine, not the newspaper. I remember correctly. So she was reading it, and her mom was reading it, and she said that, but her being a lady or being a woman shouldn't matter so much. That her chess skills should be the one that has been published. So something like that. That for me, it's more important, or it's more valuable that person or people or team compliments me for my work rather than me as a woman, as a woman, because it's like all the more emphasizing that there is a certain weakness. I'm not saying women are weak, but that certain perspective. Like it's you're all the more asserting the negation or the negative, something like that. Like I don't compliment there's like, hey, you did a good job because you're a guy, you know. So why would you say that to me, like something like that? It's better if you compliment the person for what she did, for the work she did, in terms of, you know, if that's work.
I love what Nicole has highlighted. There is you see nowadays, you know, because of social media and things like that, you know, the value of compliment, you know, people are complimenting people for a lot of things, you know, every day, you know, from everything from happy birthday to congratulations, right? But what kind of compliments do people really value? That's the question. If you compliment someone based on factors that they can't control or that they don't earn, that they are just born with, you know, compared to if you compliment them on something that they work on, that they work for, that they achieve, which one do you think they will value more? You know, sometimes, you know, I've all these friends, right, that they feel that their people are always complimenting them, you know, because they are a girl, because they are a guy in a female-dominated industry, or because they look good, okay, or their skin is good, or things like that, you know. But sometimes some of this is by nature, right? So they feel like so many people are giving them all these empty compliments, or at least they don't feel appreciated enough. And when that rare person come forth and say, you know what, Peter, I love your hosting tonight. You know, you have such nuances in the way you interpret stuff and things like that. When they hear something that, you know, really appreciates their talent, you know, they feel like, wow, this is the compliment I'm looking for, right? So what do you say, Peter?
Oh yeah, there's actually some glitches just now. Would you mind to give me a little context?
Definitely. So there are two things, right? How about, what do you think about gender equality between men and women? Can they really be the same? And secondly, you know, a lot of people are being complimented by what they are born with instead on what they have been achieving and putting work on.
Wow, that's not an easy
It's like we are just throwing all the questions to you one shot.
I will be digging a very deep grave if I step on the landmine. But yeah, between men and women, I believe in the preparation stage, we also touch on that as well. I wouldn't say like equality, like per se as 100%, but instead, I think roles are changing. Roles that conventionally are assigned and expected to men and women are changing. So everything has to be renegotiated. You can achieve anything that you want. Like for example, for men, if they want to be the head of the family, like what it used to be, or they want to play that role and they can find a partner that they can work it out, it's totally fine. And on the other case, especially in Northern Europe, where they are advancing really way ahead of everyone else, you would see actually a lot of guys that are staying back at home, and they actually play the role of like a not housewife, but house husband. All right, taking care of the babies, getting the groceries, and everyone is just doing just fine. But if we were to try that in Asia, in the context of Asia, you will still get a little bit, not a little bit, many glances of curiosity, you know, from people around. Oh, why is that person not playing to the gender role? You know, the perception. I think that's the thing that we need to break away from. Whether you're a man or women and you have aspirations in life, by all means, you should go ahead. But then, when you are no longer alone, when you're having a partner, you know, you have a whether it's you're having a girlfriend or boyfriend, or you're in a family, you're married, then you have to sit down with your partner and really go through that negotiation. Okay, this is what my aspirations are. And can you share yours? What do you want to achieve down the road? What I aspire to be. And since we're already together in a relationship, let's see how we can work it out. You know, instead of having that perception, oh, you're women, you have to stay home and cook, you know, you shouldn't do anything else. You should put that aside. But instead, as equal level partners in a relationship, and you think about it, you know, okay, these are the roles that I can take in this relationship, you know, and if you're in a marriage, okay, every week who will be doing the house chores, we divide the house chores, you know, instead of oh, you're the wife, you have to clean everything. We need to, it's time to put that aside and just treat each other as equal partner. If we can do that, everyone would be happier. You know, instead of once, it's like both sides in the aisle of parliament. If I can use that analogy, you in every country, you see both sides shouting to each other, pointing fingers. I wouldn't say who's who, but in every country, you'll see the same drama. And if you were to do that in a relationship and you want equality from that, as in addiction, it's the last way that would work. You know, you need to treat me in a more equal way. You need to respect me. If you're doing that and you continue to do that, you might want to reconsider, but instead, sit down and treat each other as equal, and you're trying to work it out. Same thing in workplace per se. You have to put that perception aside. You know, if let's say Arshela is really good in what she's doing, her area of expertise, we need to stay focused on letting her shine in her way. You know, get the resources that she needs, instead of thinking, oh, she's from certain gender, then we have to treat it that way. Once you start getting into that perception, it's already unequal. You're already treating her because of her gender. So that's, I would like to challenge everyone that talks about equality. Look at the ability first, instead of, oh, we have to be equal to this guy or this lady because he or she is from this gender. It's a very different thing, you know. If you want to be really equal, I would like to challenge that. A different kind of thinking, a much more equal than the equality that we're discussing now. And what was the second question again?
I
got
see.
too long for that.
Yeah, two types of compliments, right? You know, sometimes people are being praised for things that they are born with, right? Like they are male or female, they are tall, they are short, you know, things like that. Instead of being complimented on what they are competent in, what do you say?
Maybe we can also open that to our audience. If I may take over your role for a short few seconds, maybe the audience can share. What would you like to be recognized about? You know, you may be good looking, but you know you have the skills that you have, and you may be good in certain things that everyone doesn't know. Maybe you can share that in the comment section so that every one of us here can celebrate you. And back to complimenting. It is, if you have a colleague that is dressed up quite well, let's say company dinner or you know, company events, and he or she really puts in the effort of dressing up well, then it's okay, you know, by all means. Hey, you look great today, I like how you dress. But even that, you have to put in a little bit of effort. What do you like specifically of the way of your friends or your colleague dress up? See, put in a little bit more effort, Not just say, oh, you look great, very beautiful, you're handsome. You can do better than that. Specific way you feel instead of just generic. Then second is how you compliment about the capability, like what Arshela and Hugo you mentioned just now. Compliment in a way that it would become a positive motivation to do better. Let's say if that person is very caring for his or her friends, then you said, oh, I really like the way that you care for the people around you. It makes me feel that I feel cared for when I'm around you as your friend. And I would like to let you know that I see what you're good in, the character that you are. Then it would give them the motivation to do better. Not just say, oh, well, he's an honest person, he's a nice person. That doesn't go anywhere. I mean, if it all boils down to being more intentional with the words that we're using. Always think of how we can lead them to a better place, even when we're complimenting.
Specific compliments versus surface compliments.
Yes, exactly. Then you will give people a very deep impression. Oh, that person really pays attention, very attentive.
I love where Peter actually brought this conversation, right? So Peter has explained in length about what to do in a partnership, relationship kind of things, right? So which now we have come full circle back to where Arshela has begun. Not Arshela, just Arshela and Peter, right? Who is the better man? Okay, who is the better man and why? Okay, so for our viewers' sake, I will share screen again.
Who's your favorite man or male lead character, in the show? I mean, that would be a discussion.
So this is Towns. This is Barry. And this is Benny.
Let's give our audience some time to vote. Your favorite man in the show? Keep it coming.
I thought that Benny, sorry, that was Towns. I thought he was gay. Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just know now.
I think that's why she got heartbroken after. Did I get that right? I don't know.
Hugo, do you see any names coming up? Like Benny, Towns, and Harry Beltic.
Okay, let me have a look, yeah?
Yeah, keep it coming, people. Who do you like the most, the male characters, and why? Now let's spark up some discussion. And I think it's very timely position, of the different characters placed in the stages of Beth Harmon's life and development of Beth Harmon as a lady, from a girl and then to a mature lady. Three of them sort of like a milestone instead of just three random guys just pass by her life. But instead, it's a very milestone way of being arranged. It's not just stuff in another guy, good-looking guy, just to fill in the time,
But I love this this cowboy hat.
Oh, you like the cowboy hat?
Yeah, actually, he is very genius. Even though he looks like a funny guy, he teach Beth everything about chess, and I just love it. Even though Beth broke his heart, in the end, I don't know, I can't remember which episode, but then he bring his friend along to help Beth at the end to win what tournament. I don't really remember, but then I can see that this guy is very sincere with Beth. Yep.
Do we see any names, Hugo? Like, which one do you see the most?
Well, yeah, I mean, this is happening in a couple of pages. So far, I only see like Benny, and Towns. It seems Benny is leading, maybe.
No Harry Baltic?
No Harry so far.
Oh,
Right. I think first thing first, since Arshela mentioned about the costume design,
yes.
Yeah,
I think we can touch about that.
yeah, sure.
In a lot of time, the design of a character itself, you wouldn't know simply by the way they just read out the lines, but when you give a very distinctive look, you know, it doesn't have to be like really good looking or what, but you mold the character and give it a look, a costume, a hat, and then at the first glimpse, the audience subconsciously already know what kind of guy or person this is, you know, with the hat. Then we can start with the hat. And from Arshela, what's the first impression you get from that? Watching Benny entering, I mean, each of us can give our first impression. We can start with Arshela. The first time that you see this guy with a cowboy hat, what comes to your mind?
Okay, he's like a crocodile, playboy. Yeah, but then I am very impressed when he really wants to thought that, even though he is not good looking for me. I'm just joking, guys. But then my first impression is he is a very genius person, actually.
Right.
Yes.
Then maybe you can back to the host. What does the host Hugo thinks?
I think usually when the characters with the cowboy hat, right? I think maybe he's a laid-back person, a chill person, maybe a street-wise person, you know. And of course, it also matters who is the actor that is playing it. Perhaps for Arshela, this person looks intelligent. Maybe that's the vibe, you know. I mean, in every character that the actor has ever played, right? He's the how do you say? He may not be the lead man, but he's always someone who with a little bit of cunning or intelligence or will.
Very edgy.
Yeah, very edgy kind
Very
of character.
cool.
Well, what do you think, Nicole?
Well, the first time I saw it, it's like pretty obvious. Like, this guy's more like the Zorro of chess. You know, he's that non-traditional, non-conformist, and he does look like a playboy. You know, the one that yeah, not the typical chess. Like the one he said in one of his interviews with one of the aspiring chess players. What does when the kid asks what do chess people look like? Then he replied that not someone like you he was wearing nerdy clothes, something like that. So I thought that this guy was obviously not the usual one, and it's pretty. I think the cue was that since he had this aura of being non-traditional, being a rebel, so I had a clue that he is one of the best or one of the top players because he's able to exude that certain difference.
Okay, so that's the Benny impression, right? Okay, just now I heard something about this guy being heartbroken, and this is the guy she actually likes, but
for the very first time
but the
in
guy
life.
but the guy doesn't like girls anyway. It seems like throughout the series, the person she really likes is this guy, right? So now the question is, what would you do if you are in Beth Harmon position?
Oh
like
my
the person
gosh.
you like.
Oh my god.
Gosh.
Left side, left side, one side.
Hey, maybe we can turn
I'm
the
gonna
table
drink
around.
beer too.
Maybe we can turn the table around and let me answer the question first.
Yeah,
let's do
we
it,
should
man. Let's do it.
cater to it.
If I were
Maybe I
Beth
should-
Harmon,
Yeah, if you were Beth Harmon. And he learned the girl was a lesbian. Like, guys.
I mean, if I were Beth Harmon at that stage of life, it's probably quite hard to deal with it in a mature way, you know? Because Beth at that stage would be really anxious. You know, if you haven't had any experience with whether the opposite sex, you will always feel very shaky, very anxious. So I think instead of just giving it like a yes or no kind of ending, I would hang around with this guy for a much longer time so that I can get more chances of interaction. Because more often than not, we might get a little too judgmental when we're feeling anxious with an opposite sex that we're attracted to. This would always happen. So keep it cool. And I think if I were Beth Harmon, I would keep it cool and spend a little bit more time, you know. Then maybe, just maybe, he would like change his mind and like girls again.
Wow.
Anything is possible.
Yeah.
Who would know, you know? It's a more positive way to look at life, isn't it?
Okay, Arshela mentioned something about Arshela likes this guy because he looks like a romantic guy. What give you the cue that he's a romantic person?
The curly hair.
The way, no, it's the way he looked at her.
If you guys already see this one episode where
the looks,
Beth,
the eyes,
where Beth won this.
Oh, come on, you guys.
Okay, when this guy, when Beth won this tournament, when the guy bring his camera, he was searching for Beth actually. That one I feel very romantic though, because there are so many people at there, but he decided to like, hey, I want to bring my camera along. I want to take a photo of her. Like, I feel that, wow, this is so sweet. But then I just know that he is gay, so it's useless. I just know.
We never know if there is a season 2, you know. They might go beyond the books, maybe.
Yeah, Towns might go back to liking guys.
Yeah.
Maybe he's bi.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Right.
We shouldn't
Maybe
judge.
he's bi.
We'll give Towns an opportunity.
But if I am in that position, I will definitely just go on, because we cannot judge people with his sexuality. We cannot ask him to be straight, you know, like it's okay, we can be friends. We can just let go of this feeling. But
It's
then
not like breaking a pencil, you can just break it.
Yeah, just be cool, like what Peter said just now. Just be cool, and yeah, even though it's hurt, but trust me, it will never be that long if you totally accept it. It will be end sooner or later, that feeling.
Sounds like your personal experience.
Okay, there's a story, yeah.
It's a little bit more to dig.
I
We can go.
before.
Well, let the host decide to dig deeper, or you know.
It's okay.
Okay.
Move on.
So Arshela has talked about hurting, you know, Peter has talked about hurting. How about you, Nicole?
Well, I'll probably get hurt too. Like, you know, especially as Peter mentioned, she's at that puberty stage, you know, hormones are all the rage at that stage. And then you learn that
it's a free flow of hormone and anxiety. It's like a buffet. A buffet of anxiety and hormone. That's a very wrong way to put
release them. It's a river of hormones. And then, well, you're falling for this guy, and then, you know, your hormones, your feelings are without restraint already.
Yeah. Even the sky looks pink, you know.
Yeah, and then you didn't know that he was gay, so I'd probably get heartbroken too. And then, well, just like Peter, I'd probably still be friends with Pounds, you know, but feelings, you know, I'll just let the feelings fade because it's kind of difficult to hold on to it, you know, make the person change, which is wrong, of course. Like, you can't make anyone change. You know? So just accepting the person as he is. And yeah, you know, you're right. He might change his mind along the way. Who knows? Like, just a good eye candy, I guess, in the end.
I think I totally got reminded by what Peter said, right? Like these three different characters, you know, it's just not some random love interest, but it actually represents a different phase, right? Now that I think about it, yeah, we can summarize it this way. If I go back all the way to Harry, Harry is like a flink kind of thing.
The most unlucky guy in the
unlucky guy
life, I would say.
Correct. And this is like the
Like
first love, right? But it's
love.
unrequited. This is like the person you love, but it's unrequited.
Like
This is like the person you don't love, but you just spend time with.
It's like a highway. It's like a high-speed freeway, but it's just one way.
Exactly.
Like, it's so nice because it's like the typical lives in high school, in teenage years. You know, we have this crush, and then go on with someone who's not really our type, but you know, reciprocate us, and then go with someone who does, but still has something.
We all been through that.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we love the movie, because it's so real.
I think if I may, but Harry came in at a very awkward transitional period where she's already good enough in her city or state, you know, as a chess master per se. Then Harry Baltic, the state champion, comes along. But at that point, maybe we can change the photo. This is not Baltic, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
To be fair.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, there we go. This is Harry Baltic.
Give him some screen time, though.
Yeah, again, like Arshela said, the costume plays a very large part. And in this stage of life, I'll give a context about Harry Baltic for everyone. That you can see, if you are a college kid and you're being nerdy, you're being smart in a way, it's quite unlikely that you'll pay too much attention to your how you wear. You'd probably wear anything that comes by, functional, and you know, keeps you warm. And then there we go. And you might not even pay too much attention for your hairstyles. Just make it tidy, and then that's all you would do. You know, like what we can see in on Harry Baltic. You know how they design the character. So immediately when this fella, this poor guy comes into the story, you can immediately tell this is just a guy that is like nerdy, somewhat smart, but at the same time he's had his own issue to deal with. So for Harry in that stage of life, he's already doing his best to be a chess player, but at the same time he's facing the issue where he doesn't really have aspiration to go further as a chess master. He just stays as a state champion, not even a national level champion. So he tries to come back into life of Beth Harmon, trying to be helpful, brings along all the chess books, if all the audience would remember, all the chess strategies, books, and go through one by one. And then he realized that, oh, damn, man, Beth, my crush, already so much better than me. What do I do? That is a very, I mean, as a man, I would feel that is a very awkward position to be in. You used to be a little bit further up than the one that you had a crush on. Now you realize how behind I am compared to the person I'm interested in. You know, I'll open that. Perhaps I can pass back the floor to the host, and we can let the ladies pick up the baton from there. How would you deal with that as from the position of highly qualified and highly capable ladies, if you came across such guys in life and he seems to be a bit lagging or struggling to catch up, I mean, later the host Hugo can try to imagine yourself as a lady for equality's sake. Let's see how it would work out. Yeah,
Just
but first we let
yeah,
but first we let the ladies
answer first. Okay.
Yes.
Sure.
How about Nicole first? I still think.
That is a really thought-provoking question. Let me think as well. Well, I think it does happen in life. I mean, not just romantically, And then what actually struck me is not that, but the way Harry realized that he was not actually as obsessed anymore with chess. And sometimes that's what happens, you're good at something, and then suddenly you realize that it's not something that you want to do anymore. That's totally fine. But to address your question, that's really a tough one. Like, I think it's just, I would probably walk away like Harry. Not because I'm overwhelmed by Beth, but
I think we can hear the classes breaking up across the internet. The guys out there.
Okay.
Nicole would walk away.
No, like I think for me, the reason I would walk away because for me, as I see it in the movie, Beth doesn't really like him. Like when he was trying to confess that he fixed his speech for Beth, but Beth didn't answer or cut him off with something else. Like it's obvious that she doesn't like Harry, and that for me, the only reason they had sex or something like that was because Beth was vulnerable at that time. She just lost her mom. She needed someone to be there, So from a relationship standpoint, it's just outgrow each other. So you just have to let each other go, go separate paths and realize that some things are not for you, some things are for you, and some people are there for a season only. Like he went back, or he was welcome again in Beth's life during her Russian tournament. So it's just really more of respecting, not because I feel powerful or feel something like that. I think that's what Harry realized more than chess.
I would love to add to what Nicole said, but I will let Arshela go for it.
I tried my best.
Can you recall back the question? I feel lost with Nicole's answer.
The question is something like, if there is a guy like a Harry in your life, right? What would you do to him? What would you do with him?
Okay, so basically Harry is the one who liked Beth, right? But Beth doesn't like him. So if the guy kept chasing me, I will give him a chance to talk. Like, if you want me, then why? Basically, I am that person who love giving people a chance to talk. Like, I will let him to chase me. But then, if he is really obsessed, then I cannot bear with it. Because obsessed and in love is not the same thing.
No obsession.
Yeah, I don't like obsession, and also I don't like people who like to interrupt my life, because I also have my own privacy, and he also has his own life. If I am that girl who has been chased by this guy, I will let him be. But then, if he already go out of the box, means that he already make me feel like a mess. I will talk to him very slowly lah. But it is not difficult to give someone a chance. Everyone deserves a chance to talk and to show that he is in love with you. Like, I am very 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 a pity one. Like, I like to, okay, I want to see why you want me, why. So Basically, just let it be. But when it comes to obsession, please do not bear with it. That's all. Yeah, just let it go. But it will stop lah. If the guy, like chasing you, but you can't, like, okay, bye, and he will immediately stop by itself. You know, there we can see where people who love you the most and not because of obsession or just like he likes you or he loves you. It is not the same thing. You get it? Yeah. Love and like a fan is not the same thing.
Just to add up, just to add to what Shell was saying, I think for Harry too, it was right to walk away because
Yeah.
I think he didn't feel respected already. Like, you know, we don't want anyone to feel that way, whether she's a girl or he's a boy.
Gladly, he is not obsessed with Beth lah. He can be himself after the episode end. Like he wants to accept Beth as his friend, and it is a good thing.
All right. I think we have two fantastic answers from the ladies, right? So I will give
For
my
the guys.
answer, right? Just right before the song by Mouse over here, we have a new guest over here, right? So
Hi, Miles.
hi Mouse, are you here?
Hello, guys.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Can y'all hear me clearly?
Yes, loud and clear, loud and clear.
All right. Hey, guys. So I've been working tirelessly since the last time, I get the snippet, and yeah, I've, did the audio, the full song. I worked on the full song, and it's finally posted on my YouTube page. So y'all can check it out. I would like to give credits to John Michael from the band The Fellas. He's the co-producer in the song, and me, the vocalist. So this song is titled "Don't Be Afraid," right? So YANA being a mental health group, and YANA with this recent live stream with talking about love and all these issues that people are facing. I have wrote a song to give hope to people, to enlighten them, to share my experience, my personal experience, and I hope that whatever is written in that song would give a little hope and little encouragement to push people forward to start something with whatever they're going through, to help them progress in life.
All right. So yes, I'm aware that Mouse has been working on this the past couple of weeks. So what we are going to hear today is the audio track, because there is going to be a music video coming somewhere in the future, right?
Yes, there will be a music
Were
video.
you singing?
There will also be an acoustic version of the music video, right?
Okay.
So there will be this is the studio version of it. There'll be an acoustic version, and there'll be a music video coming up. So stay tuned to my channel and do keep watch whenever I post, because there will be more further future projects coming up. Do support me. Do follow me on Instagram at mikeyextraterrestrial.extraterrestrial. Yeah. So thanks for all the support, guys. For the past couple of weeks, I've seen a lot of followers, and I've seen YANA really helping me grow my audience. And I would just like to say thank you to all of y'all for supporting me.
I think Mouse came in just at the right time. Right now, we are doing the "It's Okay to Not Be Okay" campaign, because there's been a lot of stigma surrounding mental health. People are ashamed, people are being alienated, and in some places even criminalized for having mental illness. That should not be the case, right? We are in the 21st century, and right now, with the power of social media and all of you at home, now is the best time to communicate this message right to you at home. And so with this today, we have a tribute song from Mouse Travis Stephen. It's going to be an audio track. Remember to support him at his YouTube channel, that he will be posting the link at this YANA live stream right at the command. So make sure you look at the comments below and get the link, click the like button, and click the subscribe button. Click the bell. All right, so let us put our hands together to Miles, Travis, Stephen. Do not be afraid. Okay, let me see. Where is it?
Let's go. Okay, I want to meet my.
Share sound. Okay. And get the link, click the like button, and click the subscribe button. Click the bell. All right, so let us put our hands together to Miles, Travis, Stephen. Do not be afraid. Okay, let me see. Where is it? Share sound.
Sometimes the light in your eyes don't shine
Let's put
bright.
our hands together to Miles, Travis, Stephen.
The lies that they tell you seem so right. And sometimes you wonder how you got here. That feeling of fear and belonging in your eyes that shine bright. Don't be afraid. Run to me and tell you say so right. Fear can be a good thing, they say. And sometimes you wonder how you got here. The road that you thought was right and belongs in clouds that shine bright.
Right, all right. Yeah, as per Miles' request, you can watch the rest of it on YouTube. Okay, so just stay tuned for the music video, and because they are just rushing the song just now to upload it. We were just waiting for him. He told me at the comment section he's still processing it. So yeah, stay tuned for the music video, and as they edited the sound and everything. So stay tuned. When can we expect that, Mouse?
It should be coming soon. We'll be working on it. We'll update you on when I am done with it. So do stay tuned. We'll upload it anytime between this month or the following month or so. Yeah. Now it's 28. Yeah. So the following month, the coming month, anytime in between there. So I will be working on the acoustic version first, and then it will be followed by the music video. So it will have a slot in between, to do the recording and stuff like that, but do stay tuned and do check it out. I will update Hugo on whatever is going on, and he will share the link when the next live stream happens or whenever, so yeah, just support, guys. I would really love and appreciate all your help. This means a lot to me, and I hope it does the same to you as well.
Awesome. Thank you for the tribute song. That's the thing, right? Every one of you can do something for the cause, for mental wellness. If you can speak, if you can sing, if you can write, if you can draw, right? Do send us your tribute song, your art pieces. We'll be more than happy to host and feature you. So Mouse, thank you for joining us today. Have a good evening and take care.
Thank you, Hugo.
Most welcome.
See you guys.
Take care. All right, so back to the big question. The big question we have for tonight is, what do we do with Harry? Right, that's the question. So to take up the challenge by Peter, right? What do we do with Harry, right? If we play the gender switch role, right? Okay, so you all have seen enough of Harry. So I think what is being represented in Queen's Gambit is so apt, right? Because it represents different people that are in our lives. I think sometimes we need to go into relationships with the right expectations. And perhaps the most important, not to say rule, the most important guideline when you get into a relationship for those viewers who are still watching with us would be don't expect it to be permanent. Certain relationships are meant to be a passing phase and not a permanent fixture in our life. And that's okay. And that's okay. It is okay to be permanent, because every relationship is supposed to be part of a story, just like Queen's Gambit. It advances the plot. But people are not meant to stay. Our lifespan has increased so much for the past several decades. Arshela is crying, so should you. But the fact is that the general lifespan of humans, due to advances in science and technology, people live beyond 30 and 40 years old. People are going to live until 70 or 80 years old. What sounds like, what sounds like a promise, right? Like what Peter said, what sounds like a promise to be together for a lifetime now can be a challenge. Now can be a challenge. Why?
Just imagine that. Just imagine that you start to be in a relationship with someone when you're 30 years old. Let's say both of you went all the way until 110. Just imagine that. I mean, back then, 2 generations ago or 3, a lifetime might mean that, the lifespan back then might be like late 50s or late 60s. Now that the technology of medication has went so advanced, you have no problem to drag it on or extend it all the way 120, 130. So imagine that. The moment when you're 30 years old, you're gonna, let's say you live until 120. My math is not good, but you do the math. It's a lot of weeks together.
And what I love about this, a lot of weeks together, is that just think about this, right? You can barely promise yourself what is going to happen next year, right? Remember, you promise you go to gym and you don't go to gym. And you dare to say to me, you dare to promise another person for the rest of their life. On what basis? That's a big question. And secondly, I still remember you say you're going to stop fast food, you're going to stop smoking, you're going to wake up early, you're going to go to the gym, all those things that you promise yourself that you never fulfill. And now you dare to promise another human. That's question number 1, right?
I love you for 60 years. Wow.
Secondly is, of course, if we look at it, it's not that the person cannot stay, but sometimes what happens is that, we have all seen, quotes like, you meet the right person at the wrong time, and sometimes things like that happen, right? And more importantly, what if you meet the right person at the right time? Okay, it sounds like a good fairy tale ending, right? Right person, right time. But what happens
after?
But what happens if it is not happily ever after? Now, here is what happened, right? It's the right person at the right time for that 5 years. Because as the era changes,
reality hits.
People changes. For example, let's say one person become very comfortable. He no longer display the kind of drive that when you first meet the person, or he or she no longer have the kind of edginess in the fashion sense, or the glimmer in the eyes, that you first like so much, right? Because people change, people age, and their values change too. They might be this character and this ambition and this passion at year 2021. But when you reach year 2030, you have to give the person a permission to grow due to, his or her life experiences. She might have a different values. Like at the beginning, she might not value family. Later on, he or she might value family. At the beginning,
priorities change, right?
Priorities change, right? So what happens is at the beginning, your values and priorities matches. So it looks like the right person, right time. But over time, your values and priorities changes. So what do we do with the person in front of us?
If I may, I mean, again,
Question.
I'm using
Yes.
that
Okay.
question for permission.
Yep.
I can share something from personal experience as an extension to what recently I've been. I've just ended months of pursuit of a lady that I'm interested in, and there was one time we have this very serious conversation about, you know, the concern about longevity of relationship, which is a legitimate concern. And what I had in mind is, because I went through all those, those books and articles about relationship, you know, just to learn how this can work. Because I believe more in gradual improvement, not try to figure it out by ourselves. So the thought that I had was that instead of just getting married, you put on the ring and you know, happily ever after, like in rom-com movies. In real life, it doesn't happen that way. Behind the door of the bedroom, you would see couples arguing, not sleeping together. They're no longer as passionate for each other. In this case, in the bed. It always starts from in daily life. What I would propose, if we really were like wanting to make this as long as possible, if you remember, like how companies would have annual review. Okay, this is where the controversy starts. I mean, I get the same feedback from the lady I'm trying to impress. She was quite shocked the moment I shared this concept. So how this works, it's like annual review at the end of the year for every employee or partners of a company. You sit down together, you lay down your expectations and your thoughts, how you feel, what we expect, all lay it down, you know, write it down on paper or whatever medium. And both sides sit together and talked about it. Okay, how has this year been? Let's say 2020. You know, how do you feel? What I enjoyed about our relationship this year? Let's say we do it every December. You know, instead of indulging in an overseas trip, you allocate a few days just for each other. Imagine that every year, every December, you spend like 3 days, like a retreat. Sit down together, we have a reflection. What do we enjoy with each other this year, you know, and what makes us a little bit irritated or unhappy, unsatisfied? We lay it all down, and what can we do together as a couple to make it through 2021? We renew the contract and the commitment for another year, not lifetime, not 10 years, but just for one single year before we went to another December again. And then we work from there. Instead of, okay, he doesn't put down the toilet seat every time after he flushes, I'll just bear with it, you know, until 5 years later, you really cannot take it. And that becomes a reason of you breaking up. Now that's really stupid, you know. Instead of waiting until that boiling point, you should instead try and do that. I mean, to me, at least, that's a more sensible way in this volatile world if we were to make relationship last. Instead of just hoping that it will last, you put in actionable, you know, actions that actually would lead to results that you can see. It may sound a little technical, but at least to me, that's a step that we can actually put into use. It's a sensible way, you know. Not sure how others would think for our fellow guests.
Well, I can understand the stigma surrounding that methodology or mindset, of course. I totally understand that. It's just a method of between two camps, right? Like, have you heard of this? Like, love is a verb, meaning that people feel like, love is just is a feeling kind of thing, but love is actually something that is being expressed in action, right? So it takes an action plan to manage love, with all the changes and growth, right? So to make it permanent, we have to work on it consistently and not just relying on the initial attraction. I mean, we all face this, right? We love something, we like a new we like a new thing, a human. Sometimes we have crushes and things like that. But that's a phase, right? So what happens after that, it takes a lot of consistent work, to keep things together.
Yeah, we would often hear that from, especially ladies in relationships. They will often say this to their boyfriends. I felt that, I don't want to use that voice, but I felt that you don't love me as you do like 6 months ago when you first started. I don't feel that anymore. Where's that love? It's been missing, hiding somewhere. Because we just rely on that initial crush, like what Hugo said, just dries up and you didn't replenish the well, the well of love between you two, just dries up.
So we got to pass back to the ladies, right, for feedback.
Oh yes, definitely. The other side of the aisle, that's reciprocal conversation.
So Hugo, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
How about if the girl chased the guy? How about if the Harry is a lady itself?
Whoa.
Oh, I want to know Hugo's answer. If a girl chase you, what you want to do, Hugo?
Of course, Hugo experienced that all year long. I mean, it's a highly calibered, legible guy. Yeah. I mean, he's the right person to answer that first.
I think we have to manage the expectations. I think that's the first thing, right? Manage the expectations, and because let's say if the candidate come to you, right? Let's say like the Harry, right? The Harry version, like what Arshela say.
I like your choice of word, candidate.
Candidate. Okay.
You have many choices.
Okay, so I think we have to be clear about what we are looking for at that phase of life. If you do not know what you are looking for, you will fall for everything. I think that's what happened, whether it's a guy or female, some certain people you see, they always fall for everything because they stand for nothing. So what are you looking for in that phase of your life? Does that person that liked you matches your values and your direction in life? So sometimes it's very weird, as in you like that person, you're attracted to that person, or that person is attracted to you, but your values doesn't match, right? This one I learned a bit later, right? Values are so important.
Let's make situation a bit difficult for Hugo. Let's say, if the lady is like super attractive and highly compatible, but then she just wants to doesn't share the same value, but deep inside you felt like, oh man, I should give it a try, for a certain period. How would you deal with that struggle? Super attractive Miss Universe, kind of level.
Well, bringing pageant in.
Yeah,
I think at the end of the day, all these things, right, is up to self-discipline and awareness. There is always something better that comes along. That's the challenge, right? Today you look at, Loki is so cute. Tomorrow you look at a video, oh, Abu is so cute.
Nothing, just joking.
This kind of attraction, right? If we fall for every single person, that feels better,
we'll be very busy.
we'll be very busy, number one. Number two, it will be that we have to realize that whenever we are infatuated, or what Arshela said, obsessed with someone, I have this, how do I put this in layman? Not to say belief, but it's like a guideline that you must keep in your mind, right? Whenever you find yourself infatuated or obsessed with someone, it means that you don't understand the person enough. So you just repeat the mantra, 10,000 times in your head. So every time you feel like you are overly attached or attracted to someone, it means that you don't understand someone. Whether this statement is true or not does not matter. It will force you and compels you to understand the person better. So for Peter's question, I will try to understand the person better, because the moment I understand the person better, I will realize she has flaws that I previously did not see. And this will make my decision and judgment easier and clearer. It is not possible for me to hate someone. It's not possible for me to be totally infatuated with someone. Either way, it means that I don't understand the person. So I want to get to know the person. I want to get to know her. I want to spend some time with her. A lot of friends, text me daily on love matters, and they tell me like, I'm attracted to this person. Suddenly, 2 weeks later, to me, I'm attracted to this person. I was like, how do you fall in love so fast? Like, how does that happen, right?
Very busy.
Exactly.
Like, I asked them, like, have you even like gone out with the person, or like how many hours have you spent with this person?
Yeah,
they
like
were
conversations.
like, yeah, exactly. They were like, a few texts. I met on Zoom, I met it one time, that doesn't count, You don't know the person enough to say you love the person. Well, that's a very big word. Yeah.
Love is very a big word, yes.
Yeah, it's a big
like
word.
That.
Yeah, it cannot just be like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get to know each other, and you can make a decision after that, Yeah.
I think
Yeah, like you want
to stretch it, and I agree with Arshela and Hugo, but then as a supplementary feedback from what Hugo mentioned earlier, from social science point of view, if we stretch it out to like our parents and our grandparents' generation, even up until our parents' generation, we don't have to really struggle about love and who's compatible with me. Do I really like this guy or girl? Do we go compatible with each other? Do I love her? There's no such issue. I mean, even until our parents' generation, it's more like, do we have a little bit of feeling? If we have, okay. Or it can be like two families, they want to like group together, and it can be a wealthy family, which you see on TV drama. It's also true in real life. If in case you're wondering, it happens. I've seen that before. They were like, oh, two parents, our families are you're rich and my family is rich, especially in Asia. Like, yeah, let's get together and put our kids together and get married, and get richer. You get richer, I get richer, everyone get richer.
Yeah.
But when it comes to our generation, we have the dilemma, and because we actually have choice, even for whatever family background, we're actually the first generation that has the choice. We can choose what we want or what we don't want. Even our parents, they're like, oh, it's trendy to let our kids decide on themselves. If we were to tell our kids who to love, it's not cool. We want to be cool parents. The new edgy way of parenting. So there's a lot of stress. I mean, if any of you watching this feel stressful already, it's totally fine, because we're the first batch of youngsters, so to speak, to have choice. You can choose who you love, but I think the dilemma is like what Hugo said. If I were to live until 130 years old, I might have to go through multiple decisions. I might have multiple partners. No, when I'm 70 years old, I have to decide, do I still like this girl? I mean, sorry, not girl anymore, this lady. That's a tough decision.
There are a lot of mind-provoking questions, and it seems that the question on love and relationship, has gone like really, really deep. It seems like this is really like the core issue in everything, right? It's a big thing in people's life.
It is.
Right. So okay, we have been on live for many hours. This is possibly the longest YANA live stream
Oh my God.
yet. Well done.
Feels like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Well done. We are just breaking records here. So we are going to sum this up to all our viewers who are watching today, right? Really thankful to all of you that are watching, that join us tonight. It's been so long. We hear so many things, we hear about addiction coping strategies from Nicole. We get to know 2 new cats, live. First time 2 cats live on YANA. That's another record. And of course, Peter is sharing a lot of strategies, common sense to do annual review in relationships today. And Arshela has been relating a lot of personal stories today on how herself, coping with different, pills, tranquilizers, also growing up, who are the people she look up to, a lot of great personal stories. So with this, I would like to end this with a short statement from each of our panel. Nicole, are you still with us?
Yes. Hello.
Yes. I hope you still have the strength.
Yeah.
Share with our viewers a few more words. Yes.
But in terms of the QG, well, just to just the last maybe statement in relation to that love. I was actually reading a book on a good book. You should guys also try to read it. It's called The Art of Loving by Eric Fromm, and yeah, it's right. There are 4 elements in loving. I mean, not just in romantic, but also filial, brotherly, and even love of God. So there's the care, of course. There's the knowledge. That's why it's too easy, or it's not right to immediately say I love you to someone you barely know, unless you've been communicating with each other for quite some time already. Then there's also the respect. Yeah, so it's a good book actually. You guys should try it, and it's nice. It has nice revelations, like throughout history. It'll take you back how we have viewed love as human beings. So there. But in terms of Queen's Gambit, I'm really grateful to be able to stay here, talk with you guys about it, share my thoughts, and I hope everyone has learned something new, a thing or two at least, and was able to, think also for yourself with all those thought-provoking questions.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much,
Nicole.
Terrence, again.
Thank you. Our first time having Nicole on board live, so very happy to have her tonight. Right, the first in-plane Zoom background we have on live stream, and the first cat that appear on live. Though that is YANA Live alumni now, right? Locksky.
Oh, I love that.
Okay, Arshela, what do you have to say tonight to sum it up? What do you have to say to our audience?
I learned many things this night with you and Peter, especially. I love to hear what men thought about love. Because I really want to know what they think and what they want to say about the girl. Because I am very a curious person, but not that obsessed. But I love to know something new. So for today's life, I really feel like I learned something that can give me a courage to do something better than before. You know, I love this kind of life because it is more than the Queen's Gambit itself. You know, like we are
Yeah.
already around the world.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
yeah, but then I am very grateful to be here, even though I talk very casually, memang casually, and I
Mhm.
feel very proud to talk about my personal story because it is hard for me sometimes because not all of my story are being open in public. So this is about the transcolizers. Actually, that is my first time to talk about it. Yeah, and then about the Queen's Gambit itself,
Mhm.
I am very proud to be like Beth Harmon, not to be like her, but I actually, when I watch that, I can see myself in her. You know,
Mhm.
the way he talked, the way he see people when he got the anxiety because he had a depression. I don't know whether whether she got a bipolar, but then you know she is very very like very cool to another person, like she's staring like that. That is me before. I don't talk with people and I love to learn something new, just like what she did. She wants to play chess even though you know
Mhm.
that time woman is not allowed.
Mhm.
Like yeah, the Queen's Gambit itself is very inspiring. So okay, to you guys watching this live, it is a very recommended series. You guys may check it on Netflix. That's
Thank
all.
you,
Thank you.
Arshela. We should always applaud people who dare to share their personal stories because stories matters.
Yeah.
Stories
Yep.
matters. Okay, Peter. Peter, this must be our third live stream. Fourth, maybe.
I lost count. Honestly, I
Maybe
lost
fourth.
count.
We done like twice on public speaking on digitalization as well, I think. Digital mindset. Yep. And now to Queen's Gambit. That's
Yeah, wide range.
yeah. What a wide range, man.
As wide as
Okay.
it can be.
So what is your closing statement to our viewers for tonight?
As a film enthusiast, yeah, back to where I'm coming from, and also as Toastmasters, I have two things to share on that. First is as a film enthusiast, if a little bit more backstory about how this story was actually produced, how this web series, it actually took 30 years of waiting from the original, when Alan Scott, the original copyright holder, bought it from the author 30 years ago. He waited, made many attempts, and not until recently, 2019, that Netflix were like, oh, this story is quite good. I have the money, go and produce it, you know, have fun with it, make a good story for us. Then only it can get produced. So more often than not, whenever you're watching a web series or a movie, good stories or good movies doesn't just come by that easily. There are humans and years of efforts that goes behind that. And when you can put that in mind and in context, you will start to see every movie or web series differently. You know, whenever you want to be more appreciative of a movie or web series, go and research a little about the backstory, and you will learn a little bit more than just the story itself. You will learn to be more appreciative. You doesn't have to be a filmmaker yourself to appreciate a film, but you can always research a little bit more to be more appreciative. That's already a big step to enjoy a content much more than others. Your life would be so much more richer, you know. And when it comes to communication, the stories, my advice to anyone that is learning communication skills and public speaking is always, you learn about stories of others. The reason why humans are so tightly knitted together, even after so many hassles, thousands of years fighting each other, and we're still together, as a community, more often than not, is that we're always finding a narrative, common narrative together, that how can we stay together as a community. So in this sense, the reason why this web series is so powerful and influential is the story that it brings, very empowering messages. So when you want to be a good public speaker or good communicator, always learn of telling good stories. What do I want? What kind of stories I want to tell this time? What message I want to tell, and you come up with a story and you wrap it nicely like a Christmas present so that it's really presentable to your audience, not just lecturing your crowd. Audience, no matter how old they are, they love stories. Tell them a good story and it will stick in their mind forever. They would feel good about you forever. That's the essence among all other essence, to be good in communication skills and as a public speaker.
Okay, so once again, I would like to say thank you to Peter, and to wrap up our 2 hours and 30 minutes live stream. Is like this, we're gonna go all the way to midnight if we don't stop. So yeah, on behalf of YANA, you are not alone, Southeast Asia Mental Health Initiative, and to all our partners for tonight, ASEAN Youth Organization, IS, ASEAN Youth Engagement Summit, Music Man's Mind Asia, and Road Track, right? Thank you to all our partners today that make this live stream the first of its kind, and hopefully more to come. Because what really matters, whether it's mental health, whether it's gender empowerment, what we truly need are conversations. People need to talk. It doesn't matter if you have a different point of view, but every point of view matters. Because from tonight, we have learned so much from hearing from different panelists, from their stories, from their perspective. And indeed, ideas do change the world, and this is how we start, to make the world a better place, bringing people together. So with this, a very good evening. Oh yes, a very good night. So enjoy your supper, ladies and gentlemen, and I will see you in the next season of YANA Live. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye,
See
everyone.
you.
Thank you for your patience.
Okay.